What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, and today I'm bringing you a guide on how to use Quaquaval in competitive Pokemon. And this Pokemon is arguably the best of the 3 starter Pokemon in this new generation of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So if you guys are excited for the video, leave a like on the video because we're aiming for 75 likes on today's content. Comment your thoughts on the Pokemon down below, as well as your thoughts on each of the individual 3 starters. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more daily competitive Pokemon content. We're getting to 2,000 by the end of the year, and hopefully you can join us for the ride. Let's jump into it. Starting off with Quaquaval stats, this Pokemon has some of the best stats on a starter Pokemon. It is very balanced with 85 base HP, 120 attack, 85 defense, 85 special attack, 75 special defense, and 85 speed. Very well balanced outside of the 120 attack. It's got 530 base stat total overall, and this Pokemon has all the stats that it really needs to. I prefer if it had lower special attack and higher speed, but at the end of the day, this Pokemon is basically the perfect stat for what it really wants to do, and I'm all here for it. Taking a look at its typing, it is a water and fighting type Pokemon. There's quite a few of them already, like Keldeo and Urshifu Rapid Strike. But this Pokemon has a few key weaknesses here to Psychic, Flying, Grass, Electric, and Fairy. It also has pretty good resistances to Rock, Bug, Steel, Fire, Water, Ice, and Dark. So a lot of resistances for this Pokemon here. No immunities, but that's perfectly fine. Really, its offensive stats paired with its typing are going to be able to blow through a lot of different Pokemon out there. The main answers to Pokemon like this would normally be Pokemon like Bulky Grasses, but this thing actually, spoilers, it gets a Brave Bird. Yeah, crazy. Well, it is a bird actually, so it makes a lot of sense. But let's just go ahead and jump into its abilities, and they are some good ones. Well, Torrent is fine. It's an okay ability. It's the standard water type ability. When your HP is down to 33% or below, it boosts your water type attacks. Totally cool, but Moxie is great. When you give Moxie to a Pokemon like Quaquaval, which has really good typing and really amazing offensive stats, you're gonna get a Pokemon that is gonna be very powerful and really hard to deal with in a lot of situations, especially when we look at its move pool as well. This Pokemon's move pool is kind of crazy, and starting off with its signature move, Aqua Step. Aqua Step is an 80 base power physical water move, really good sign there, and it always boosts your speed by 1. So what that means, you get a KO, you get a +1 speed boost and a +1 attack boost from Moxie. You don't get a KO, well, you get a +1 speed boost at that point in time there. So its 85 base speed is honestly kind of what it has to be. Anything higher than that, it'd be way too good to pair with Aqua Step here. Really excited to see the combination of what it can do with that. I think Aqua Step is one of the best new moves coming from this generation, absolutely bar none. Moving on to other coverage options it gets, well, it gets access to Aqua Jet, so it has priority, which is nice. It gets Quick Attack as well, but Aqua Jet is the main one. It gets access to Liquidation for more consistent, powerful damage, but most of the time you'll be running Aqua Step. It gets Close Combat for really consistent, powerful, physical fight type attacks. Really good here. And it also gets Wave Crash. Wave Crash is a new move that came out pretty recently from, I believe it was in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It actually got its text and its damage dealing adjusted for this new generation. But what it does is it is a water type double edge. So it's 120 base power and it deals recoil. Depending on what type of set you're running, Wave Crash could definitely be one of the best options out there. It also, for some reason, gets Rapid Spin. Yeah, it gets Rapid Spin. Why? I don't know, but it does. Oh, on top of that, it gets Roost too. So Roost got nerfed. A lot of Pokemon lost Roost. Salamence, no more Roost. Dragonite, no more Roost. Mew, no more Roost. But Quaquaval? Sure, yeah, no problem. You get Roost as an egg move. Why not? That's crazy. Swords Dance, yeah, Swords Dance is really good on this Pokemon. The reason why I like Swords Dance so much on a Pokemon like this is because it's going to force so many switches. You go for the Swords Dance, you Terra Blast, you go for then your Brave Birds, your Close Combats, your Aqua Steps, whatever. You're in a situation to sweep and end the game right there. It is going to be really good. On top of that, it gets Icy Wind for certain situations that can allow it to be a bit more supportive, Helping Hand for the double situation, as well as Taunt and Encore for more setup and support moves. It gets Ice Spinner as a physical ice type attack, which is really good, better than Ice Punch, that's for sure. And Terra Blast, of course, depending on which typing you want, Terra Blast might be good. I mentioned before Brave Bird, and of course, it gets U-Turn. This thing gets U-Turn. I love it. This Pokemon is absolutely fantastic. I love everything about this Pokemon, and I'm so excited to actually use it in competitive Pokemon. Moving on to some potential teammates, I think, honestly, the best possible teammate this thing can actually have in doubles is going to be Raichu. Why Raichu? Well, they form a really good speed tier at base 110 and base 85 together, which is good to have as well. They actually have support for each other with Lightning Rod, which is great. Raichu provides Fake Out support, so you can set up, and it also provides Helping Hand as well. So if you don't have your boost from Moxie yet, you can go for a Helping Hand boosted Aqua Step to break through basically anything. I really like the combination of Raichu and Quaquaval. On top of that, it's the Titan. Titan is really good because both these Pokemon struggle a little bit with water types, however, not to the point where it's detrimental to each other. So having a way to not only break grasses and dragons for this Pokemon, but also really pressure each other up a lot from the water types is really advantageous. I like that a lot with a Pokemon team. Kilowattrel is another new Pokemon that's really awesome to pair with a Pokemon like Quaquaval. It's got a really awesome speed at base 125, as well as an electric and flying typing, so it actually resists the flying type attacks. Really good there, has an immunity to ground. And one of the better parts about it too is it gets also Volt Absorb. So you can pair a really good Volturn core with the Quaquaval and the Kilowatt. On top of that, they're able to pressure each other's checks very, very effectively. I think as a combination, they work really well together. Then there is Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao is the Ice Dark Pokemon, part of the Dark Quartet. This Pokemon is absolutely crazy. I think it's got like 135 attack and like 130 speed. Absolutely insane. It forms a really strong core with this Pokemon to be able to break through basically any water type available, which is really, really nice. On top of that, this Pokemon takes on Psychic type Pokemon for the Quaquaval, but also it can beat down Ghost types, would be immune to your fighting type stab there. So really solid. On top of that, there is the Sandy Shocks, which is the paradox form of the Magneton. So it's electric and ground, and this Pokemon breaks through waters, it breaks through flying types, and it also has actually a decent speed tier overall. So solid pairing to have too. And then finally, Rotom Heat. This Pokemon here, we're unsure if the Rotom forms will be able to be transformed in the game, but it should be able to. I love the combination of electric and fire type with the fighting and water type. It works really well together with Urshifu and with the Keldeo. I'm excited to see what we can do with the Quaquaval. Moving on to items, this Pokemon has a couple of really solid items here. I have actually 7 of them, which is kind of crazy. The Life Orb is going to be one of the best ones to see on this Pokemon. You want to be able to switch up your moves really consistently, which can be very strong in certain situations. Mystic Water can be good if you don't want to take that extra chip damage, but you want the boost from your Aqua Step. Again, a really solid option. Leftovers is good for certain sub-Swords Dance sets that can be really problematic depending on what the meta shapes out to be. Focus Sash, I think, is going to be the move of choice, or the item of choice rather, in VGC, unless it becomes more of an offensive metagame and you need to run the Life Orb or the Mystic Water or the Choice Band to keep up. I then think the Choice Band, again, really solid here, as well as a Choice Scarf to get those extra boosts. It could be really advantageous. And then Boots. Boots are going to be good on everything. Heavy Duty Boots are the best item in the game, period, especially with all the new boosts to the hazard setters in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So I think having Heavy Duty Boots is a really big deal for a Pokemon like Quaquaval. On to a couple of set examples. I'm going to start off with a Choice Band or a Choice Scarf set here. It's going to be an Adamant Nature with Aqua Step, Close Combat, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. Aqua Step could become Wave Crash if you're running a Bandit set, because that could be really powerful depending on what you need to do. But this Pokemon just breaks through a lot of its own checks, and the speed boost from the Choice Scarf could be really advantageous as well. Next up is going to be a Life Orb set, again with the Moxie this time. Aqua Jet, Close Combat, Brave Bird, and Swords Dance with a Jolly Nature, because we want to switch up our attack and we want to be able to go for Aqua Step consistently. Having the extra boost in speed could be really advantageous to outspeed potential Pokemon that are in the base 80-ish speed tier. So really important there, especially if you get a Swords Dance up, depending on what the metagame shapes out like. Swords Dance might be the best option for you. Then there's a leftover set that I have here. This is a sub-Swords Dance set with Aqua Step and Close Combat. Not the biggest fan of this set, but it is important to note because this Pokemon could effectively force a lot of switches. So getting a substitute up could be really important, and then you can get a free Swords Dance to break through whatever the counter would have been. So really valuable there. And then finally, there is the Focus Sash Quaquaval, which is more for a double set here. I have an Adamant Nature with Aqua Step, Close Combat, Ice Spinner, and Protect. Protect would be good for when Pokemon are going to double target this thing, thinking it's going to have the Focus Sash, which it most of the time will, and you can allow something else to break through it that way. Really effective combination here. I think these 4 movesets all work really well in the different metagames they might be in. Moving on to a couple of predictions today, I think this Pokemon is going to be OU, period, point blank. It is the best starter Pokemon in this generation, and I don't think it's really that close, to be honest, even though its ability is not as good as Protein used to be, but because of Protein Earth, I think Moxie is actually a little bit better than that. The fact that you can get a KO with Aqua Step while giving you a Moxie boost is basically just giving you Dragon Dance while KOing something. That's insane to think about. Such an amazing combination there. The coverage is really good, and you get out of basically almost any situation that you could possibly be in because of that coverage. And a free Swords Dance could just be game winning. As for VGC, it's a really good offensive Pokemon that can take advantage of the support moves in the metagame really well. It really appreciates moves like Fake Out and Helping Hand. It's also really good to pair with Pokemon like Raichu for Lightning Rod support, as I mentioned earlier. In general, I think this Pokemon in VGC is going to be very underrated and will actually be a sleeper Pokemon for a lot of people in VGC draft leagues or even the higher VGC competitive tours. Moving on to draft league, this is my specialty here. We're looking at 17 to 18 points being the high water mark for a points league draft. I think this Pokemon will be 14 to 16 points. Yeah. Near the top, I think it's missing a couple things to be up higher than that, but in general, the fact that it has great speed to start, or well, average speed to start, great attack to start, the ability to break past basically anything that it really needs to with its powerful attacking moves, Swords Dance, the fact that you can U-turn around is really nice, and the fact that you can speed boost past your problems as well can be a big advantage. It's definitely better than Urshifu Rapid Strike and definitely better than Keldeo. It does have worse speed than Keldeo, but has way better coverage for it, which is a really big advantage. And in terms of Urshifu Rapid Strike, well, yes, the speed stat is higher and the attack stat is higher, but Quaquaval doesn't lose to Rocky Helmet like Urshifu Rapid Strike does, so that's a really big advantage for you there. It can boost its attack and speed, it can pivot around, it can support for a team really well, it can do basically anything that you really need to, which is the hallmark of a good Pokemon in Drafty. And that's all I've got for you guys today on Quaquaval, the water fighting starter Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like on the video because we're aiming for 75 likes on the content. If you guys want to see more from me, then I make daily Pokemon content. So subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we can't get there without your support. So a subscription would be really appreciated. Also, guys, comment down below, what's your favorite starter Pokemon from this generation? Which of the three are you most excited to see? And if you want to see more from me, I have these starter Pokemon guides for Skeledirge and for Meowscarada that went up in previous days. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I also want to give a big thank you to our YouTube channel members. Our level 1s are going to be Liv, Eric, Zeke, Texas Man. Our level 2 is Tone, and our level 3 is Sully. Thank you all for the support, and thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.